express the angle in radian measure as multiples of pi. Right, now, so you're given 144 degrees, right? First thing you do is convert it to radians, right? 1 pi radian is equivalent to 180 degrees, right? So take 144, convert it to radians by multiplying by 1 pi radian over 180 degrees. Go ahead and represent 144 degrees over 1, because every number is equal to itself divided by 1 times 1 pi radian. Abbreviate radian by rad, 180 degrees. Multiply across 144 degrees times pi radian is 144 degrees pi radian. Over denominator times denominator is 1 times 180 is 180 degrees. So degrees divided by cancel out by degrees, you're going to be left with 144 pi radian over 180. Find the greatest common factor, 144 or 180. That's going to be divided by 12. 144 divided by 12 is 12. 180 divided by 12 is, let's find out. 12 goes into 1 0 times, 12 goes into 18 1 time. And 1 times 12 is 12. 18 minus 12 is 6. 12 goes into 60 5 times, so 5 times 12 is 60. Minus 60 is 0, so 12 15ths. And you can reduce this further, so that's just a common factor. So that's the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor would reduce this into lowest terms. 12 15ths is still a large number, so divide both by greatest common factor. It's going to be 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So then the answer will be 4/5 pi radian. And then what you're going to do is you're going to represent it as multiples. So first multiple. The formula is you take the number of radians, right? And then you add it by 2 pi radian, right? But you always take theta, right? And you add 2 pi times the number, let n equal the number of multiples of pi. So then it's 4/5 pi radian plus 2 pi radian equals 4/5 pi radian plus 2 pi radian. And 2 pi can just be represented by itself over 1. So then just go ahead and change it into fractions so you can add it better. So 4/5 pi radian, right? Plus 2 pi radian over 1. Now what we're going to do is on the top and the bottom, right? You got to get to your least common denominator. So least common multiple of your denominator, right, is 5. So multiply 5 by 5 over 5. And you get 4/5 pi radian plus 2 pi times 5 is 10 pi radian over 5, right? So then add your numerators. 4 pi radian plus 10 pi radian is 14 pi radian over the same denominators. Remember that when you're adding fractions, just add numerators and then keep the same denominator. So the first multiple will be 14/5 pi radian. Now your second multiple, using the same formula, right? Theta plus 2 pi n, where n is number of multiple. So then it's 4/5 pi radian plus 2 pi times 2. So it's the second multiple, right? So n equals 2. So just multiply 4/5 pi radian, and you're going to add it to 2 pi times 2, which is 4 pi. represent 4 pi as a fraction, so you can add it easier to the 4/5 radian. I'm going to make it into 4 pi over 1 because anything is equal to itself over 1. Now what I'm going to do is look for my least common denominator, which is the least common multiple of your denominators. 5 and 1 is 5. So I'm going to use 4/5 pi radian plus 4 pi radian over 1 times 5 over 5. Now go ahead and just multiply, right? 4 pi times 5 is 20 pi radian over 1 times 5 is 5. I just put numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. So 4 pi radian plus 20 pi radian. Whenever you're adding fractions, just add numerators. 4 pi plus 20 pi is 24 pi radian, right? Or same denominator, which is 5. So the second multiple will be 24 pi this second. Now, in order to get the third multiple, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, right? And you're going to add 4/5 pi radian, right? Plus 2 pi times 3. Remember the formula, theta in radians plus 2 pi times n, where n is the number of multiples. So go ahead, 4/5 pi radian plus 2 pi times 3 is 6 pi radians, right? And then go ahead, in order to combine fractions, it's easier to make both of them into a fraction. And it'll be 6 pi radian over 1, right? Times your LCD is least time multiple of 5 and 1, which is going to be 5, right? So multiply this denominator to get 5. You're going to multiply by 5, do the same thing in your numerator, 5. So now you're multiplying by 1, it will just cancel out. It'll be 4/5 pi radian plus 6 pi times 5. I'm just multiplying numerator times numerator. 30 pi radians over denominator times denominator. 1 times 5 is 5. Add your numerators. 4 pi radians plus 30 pi radians is 34 pi over 5 radians. What I did was add the numerators and keep the same denominator. So this is your third multiple right there. Now you're done.